Hey, so today I'm going to walk you through how to issue your own testnet UDT. And there's a couple things that you need to do to get set up, right? By the end of this, you should see your UDT on the Aggron token section. Um, and before we do all that, I just want to give a shout out to Jason for preparing the tutorial that I followed, right? Like I'm basically just creating a translation of his content. And there's a couple prerequisites that I'll link in the description below. And you need a couple things to get up and running. And one of those things is you need to download the CKB release. I downloaded CKB version 33.0. And the other thing that you're going to need is for CKB-UDT-CLI is you need to install Golang. And I'll have that linked below too. So once you download CKB 33.3, you want to extract, and it creates a folder. You're going to open up terminal, and you're going to want to link terminal to that folder. You want to go to that folder, so you do CD, and then I just click and drag. Once I'm there, we can begin testing, and I do /CKB version. It always tells me that it's blocked, so what I do is I go to system preferences and allow the app. So once you do cancel, you do allow anyway, and just repeat the command. You do open, and it'll show you here that you're running version 33.0, and let's do the same with CLI /CKB-CLI version. And you just want to do the same thing, cancel, allow anyway, open, and it shows us that our CKB-CLI version is 33.1. And we can just then do CKB init chain testnet. So once we do that, it'll generate a couple files. And it generates the CKB.toml and the CKB-minor.toml. And now we can simply do that /CKB run. And we have our node running in the background. So now that we've got our node running, we want to move on and make sure that we download the CKB-UDT-CLI package. So I've already got it downloaded, you could see here, but essentially what you want to do is go to the GitHub here, clone, and open up a new terminal window. Just do a new window. Notice how we've got a couple windows open already. Let's ignore this. So this is our testnet node running in the background. We want to leave that going. And let's see, this is okay. So now that we've cloned it, right, it appears on our desktop. We want to go to the location and set our terminal to open from there or to run within the folder. So we do CKB-UDT-CLI, and now we can run these commands here. Go mod download. And this looks a little different from me because I've already done this. Usually it takes a little bit, so if you're noticing that it takes a little while to build, don't worry, it's perfectly normal. So we've got this built out here. So now we want to go and open up a new window. And let's do a new window. And here we want to go back to the folder where we're running the testnet node from. So let's go to desktop and take the folder. And now we're inside the folder. And I like going to dockckb.dev. It's a community run doc site. It's normally in Chinese, so I translated it into English. I have a Google Translate extension. But let's go ahead and create a new account. Let's go to new, CKB-CLI account new. CKB-CLI. Let's do CKB-CLI account. No. And press enter. It's going to ask us for a password, which we're happy to provide. And it gives us this information here. I'm just going to copy that. And I have a notes. Just have like the separate notes thing set up. Just going to replace this. I've already done this, but I'm just going to replace it. And now we're going to export now. So we click on export here and it takes us to this right here. Just gonna, you could copy and paste it. I just like to type things out. CLI account, export, extended, priv key. And it's asking for a lock arg here. And it gives us a default one, but we want to actually put in the lock arg that it gave us. So we press space and it's asking us for a password again. And now it says file exists. Let's see, let me just delete the wallet file I have there. You normally don't want to do this. This is in testnet though, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's see where. Let me just find my wallet folder. Just gonna delete this for the sake of this tutorial. It's asking for a password, and see it generated this wallet file. Okay, so now we want our private keys, so we do cat wallet and it gives us our private keys here. And I just pasted this top line and just want to make sure that I'm keeping track of it. So now we have our testnet address. Let's go back here. CKT testnet address. We go to the faucet and we claim some CKB. So let's just claim it. Boom, it's sending us 5,000 CKB. It might take a second, so we can just keep track of that to see when it's sent. Let's just give it a second to confirm. Notice I have Neuron open now, right? I opened this after I started my node. You don't want to open it before. So once you have your node running, you can open up Neuron and you go to addresses here or receive, and notice how it has CKT. This will be different if you don't have a testnet node running and you just open up Neuron. It'll automatically sync to the mainnet node, and you'll see CKB addresses here. Okay, let's just refresh, see if we got it. So now what we want to do is we can go ahead and start issuing. We can start issuing our UDT here. So notice how you have these commands here and you have some stuff that's replaceable. So this is where you're gonna replace this with your private key and with the amount of tokens that you want to issue for your UDT. So let me just double check because we do need some CKB. All right, so we got it now. So we wanna open up a new terminal window. Go to CD, desktop. And this will be different for depending on where you save your folder. I always save everything to desktop just to make it easier for the sake of tutorials. So now I'm in the CKB-UDT-CLI folder. So let's go back here and copy this command. And I'm going to go to, just going to paste it here so I could replace it just straight from here. My private key is this cat. This this string that I got from the cat command. And the amount, we're just going to say we're going to issue 1 million. All right, I'm going to copy this, and we're going to open up the CKB-UDT-CLI window, and press enter. And it takes a second, but it'll give us a transaction hash that we can then check on the Explorer. See this transaction hash? We can actually go to the Explorer, opening up a new Explorer tab. Make sure it's set to Aggron Testnet. And then we can do search. This takes a second as well, so if you encounter this, don't freak out. Give it a minute or so and it should appear. Okay, so for now, while we wait for that to show up, let's just copy this information right here. And I have this separate notes thing set up. So this is the output for this command. And we're just waiting for it to appear on the Explorer. So see, it has a transaction. It shows us our input, our outputs. And let's click, it gives us this unknown token 38E9. Let's just save that so we know what the tentative name of our token is, right? It's identified as token 38E9. We go to cell info, and we see a bunch of information here, just the lock script info, the arg, the code hash, the hash type, some TypeScript info, code hash, the sUDT code hash, and some data. Okay. So now that we have that, let's send it to somebody. So we're going to go to receive. I like to spam this so I make sure that it's copied to my clipboard. And now we can just gonna paste this temporarily here. Tnet address. And let's go back to the CKB-UDT GitHub and do a transfer. Same thing. I'm just putting this in my notes so I can replace some of the info. The your private key section should be replaced, of course, with your private key that you saved in this part cat. The UUID should be this UUID that we have here. You got it from this after issuing it, after doing the issue command. Recipient address, we could go back to Neuron, just press the copy button. And the amount we want to send, I'm going to be stingy and just send 400 of my tokens. I'm just going to copy all that and put it into this. And it's taking a second because it's generating a transaction. And it should give us a transaction hash as well that we can then reference on the Explorer. And we can even reference on Neuron as well. So it gave us this transfer transaction hash. I'm just going to copy it and go to the Explorer. I'm just going to open up a new one. Every time you open up a new tab, just make sure that you're in the Aggron Testnet. So search. It takes a while to show the transaction hash here, so don't fret. Okay, so we're going to take the transaction hash that it gave us here after doing the transfer and entering it into the Explorer. And you see here that it gives you all the info, right? Let's check Neuron. Neuron might still not display it. So here, it's showing us here the transaction hash and that we received some UDTs, right? Now we can check the balance of our address. Let's go back just to confirm, right, that we want to make sure that that the transfer actually worked, and we want to verify the amount of our UDT that we sent out. So I'm just gonna put this here to my Scratch notes. UUID, of course, is the UUID that was generated when we issued the token. So I'm just gonna put that here. And the address is our testnet address. Um, was this where I sent it? Okay. Okay. And let's open up the CKB-UDT-CLI window and check. Oh, I still have this address here. And it shows that this address contains 400 of our UDT of unknown token 38E9. So now what we want to do is have it show up on the Explorer page. So we go to this tokens site and we do submit token info. Um, you have to make sure you open link with, I use Gmail. So it's asking for some information here, right? Um, code hash, hash type, args, TypeScript. So we go, let's go to, whoa, let's see, let's find, open up our notes. Unknown token 38E9. So we see that it appears here. Okay. Going to just go ahead and use the transaction hash that it generated when we issued the token, and we're going to do sell info. And it gives us here all the information that we need to submit. So let's see what it's asking us for. It's asking us for our TypeScript, the args, the hash type, data, and the code hash. Okay, full name. It's gonna name this test UDT. Symbol, just gonna put decimal as description. Tutorial token. I'm gonna attach an image that I generated using Photoshop. It's literally an eyeball, so I'm just gonna it's 40 by 40 pixels. Open it up. You can choose whatever image you want, and then you press send. It usually takes about 24 hours to have your info reflected on the token. So let me know if this was helpful, and thank you for tuning in.